Hello boys and girls, and welcome to this Myths at War tutorial where we'll tell you a bit about the game and we'll teach you the basics of how to play. Right, so first of all, Myths at War is a game in which one player will face another, each one with a different mythology, to fight for who is the best. There are two ways to win. You can either eliminate your opponent by sending him to oblivion, or you can become so powerful you become the god of gods. Right, so let's see what kind of cards we can have. In your deck you will have three sub-decks. First of all, there is the Pantheon, which is composed by only one card, and it's the only kind of horizontal cards you will find in your playing box. Now the Pantheon indicates what mythology we're playing with. In this case, Irkalla is Sumerian. It also indicates what our initial power will be, 19 for Irkalla, and those are the amount of lives you have. We'll see what you do with them later. Also, most pantheons have an ability. The other two decks are the deck of gods and the deck of designs. The deck of gods must contain at least 20 cards, the deck of designs at least 30. The deck of gods is split into 4 separate piles called oracles, randomly, whereas the deck of designs is shuffled and placed either in the center or one side to draw from. In the deck of gods we can find 3 different kinds of cards. To start off with, there's resources. Resources have this distinct purple colour and these icons here. Each resource has a cost and an ability. There are also obviously characters. Characters have a colour which depends on their mythology, which we can also see by the logo on the bottom left. They have a cost, the same as resources. They also have a strength with which they will attack opponents, and they have a maximum power number. Most characters also have keywords like god or goddess. Any character without the god or goddess keyword is immortal, and many will have an ability. Finally, there are the events. The events are the random things that happen in War of the Myths. They have this distinct orange colour and the spiral icons. Events can be festivals or plagues or different kinds, and they have an effect. In the deck of designs we also have 3 different kinds of cards. First of all, actions, which you will play from your hand and immediately take effect, and equipments, which you can equip on your characters. Normal equipments are green, have a cost, which the character who is equipped will pay, and they have a bonus both to the strength and to the maximum power. On the other hand, we have summonings. Summonings are equipments that can only be equipped on characters with the keyword summoner. This reveals they have the ability to perform the magic necessary to be equipped with a summoning. Summonings do not boost strength, but they normally have a negative effect on the maximum power. Right, so prepare your deck. 20 cards for the deck of gods, 30 cards or more for the deck of designs. Split them into 4 oracles and we're ready to play. Right, so once we've laid out our cards, distributed into 4 oracles and the deck of designs, we will take as many tokens as the power of our Pantheon indicates, and we will place them there, forming our reserve of power. Then we will decide who goes first, and to do that we will do the power bet. Take between 1 and 4 power points, power tokens from the general reserve, and secretly put any amount of them in your hand. Next, reveal against your opponent the amount and give it to him to put in his own reserve. Therefore, those are the extra power points your opponent will start with. The opponent who has given most power will decide whether he wants to be the initial player or whether he wants his opponent to be the initial player. Right, now the turn is divided into 4 phases. The first each phase will be played in a different part of the gaming zone. The first phase, the transference, will be played in the oracles, and to do so we reveal the oracles from left to right. This is the moment at which we can place power from our reserve onto our oracles. First of all, the events resolve. As this event says, we gain 3 power points, which we add to our reserve. Next, we can move 1 point, because it is the first turn, from our reserve onto our oracles. I will put this point here, and since the cost of this character is 1, and he already has 1 point on him, he can come into the game. That would be the transference phase, and now my opponent would do his transference phase. Second phase, the influence phase. The influence phase is played in the Pantheon. In the Pantheon, we have all the characters and resources that have already been transferred, and our own Pantheon. In this phase, influence, we can play any ability which is preceded by the word influence. For example, my Pantheon will allow me to give my character the key demon. Also, I can equip my character. Since he is a summoner, I can equip him with a summoning. Characters can also meditate. Any character can do this ability, but to meditate, tire your character and gain 2 power points on your character. Now, if I wish to equip, since the cost of this equipment is 2, I remove 2 power points from my character. The order in which we play the influence phase is that the initial player plays 1 action, and then his opponent plays 1 action, and so on and so forth until both opponents say the word pass. At any time an opponent can pass, but later on carry on playing, so long as the other player has also played the abilities. Right, once both players say pass, the influence phase is ended, and we will go into the confrontation phase. Now we are ready to enter the confrontation phase. The confrontation phase starts with the assignment. Each player assigns what characters he wishes to send to the battle zone. The assignment is played alternately. I will assign 1 character, then my opponent will. The only difference with the other phases is that here, if I decline to send anybody to the battle zone, I can't send anybody afterwards. Right, to be able to assign someone to the battlefield, they must be ready, they cannot be tired, and they must pay 1 power point. So for example, my Asundrunipal can go, paying 1 power point, after which he is exhausted. My Enkidu cannot be assigned because he is tired. My opponent can assign 1 character now. I will assign another, as will he, as will I, as will he. They are now in the battle zone. And now the confrontation phase carries on by playing abilities. I will play an ability, and then my opponent will, and so on and so forth until we both decline. Here, once again, if you decline, you then later have the option to carry on playing. Okay, what kind of abilities can we play? We can play abilities from our own characters. For example, Lilith can eliminate 2 power points from a character, and now my opponent would play an ability. Chico can play her own ability, although it requires as a cost for her to be tired. We can also play actions from our hands, such as this one, which will be paid from my characters. Actions during confrontation are always paid from the character that does it, and it will give a +1 bonus strength to all my characters on the battlefield. Right, once both players have played all their abilities and actions, and both decline to carry on doing so, we will recount the strength. So, this character of mine is exhausted. Exhausted characters don't give any strength to my army. I have 4 strength from Anu, 2 strength from Lilith, which add a total of 6, and a +1 bonus strength to each of my characters, 7, 8. So my total strength is 8. My opponent's strength, Chico, is tired. Tired characters add half their strength rounded down. So Chico would add 1 strength, Chochi 3, that makes 4, plus 2 from Koyoks, that makes 6. 8 on my side, 6 on my opponent's side. He loses 2 points, 2 power tokens from his power reserve. Once that is finished, the characters return to their Pantheon. And we will begin the reorganization phase. In the reorganization phase, the first thing we do is prepare all our characters, resources and equipments that might be tired. Next, we draw a card. If at that stage any player has 30 or more power points in his reserve, he will win as God of Gods. And lastly, we'll remove any exceeding power, any power on any character that exceeds his maximum power. This Enkidu, for example, would have a maximum power of 1 and 2 power points on him. Therefore, he would lose 1 of them. And we would start another turn and carry on with the fun.